This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are reviewing the episode of ECW from February the 7th, 1995. Nate Maxson, your host, here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Chad Austin.
What's up?
We were just discussing the weather before we technically went on the air here and the different weather around the country. Chad's going to be getting our cold-ass temperatures here in a couple of days.
No, I thought it was whether or not we should be reviewing the show. Oh, it was a different kind of weather.
You said cold. I didn't know you meant the show.
Yeah.
There is good and bad to discuss in this episode of ECW that we are going to discuss. Anything else, Aaron? Anything going on you want to discuss before we start?
Not really. Just been busting my ass at work.
'Tis the season.
Yep.
This is there is one thing that I wanted to ask because I was reading and I want to see if Chad knows because he probably is going to know more than I would. I was reading it's the edition of the Wrestler magazine from October of '85. All right, and there is a card. Okay, so in 1985, Chad, in Puerto Rico, who would have been wrestling as the Kiwi sheep herders? And there's a reason I'm asking.
Okay.
Because one of the matches on the card is it's Hercules Ayala, Super Medic, and Al Perez defeated Fidel Sierra and the Kiwi sheep herders. But then the next match is Luke Williams and Butch Miller wrestled to a draw.
Like Luke Miller versus Butch Williams?
Yeah, Luke Williams versus Butch Miller.
And you said this was 85?
85.
Okay, well, the first name that jumps into mind, the obvious name would be Jonathan Boyd, but I don't know if Jonathan Boyd had the auto accident yet. I want to say it was in 85.
Okay,
because they were the sheep herders originally in Texas, and then Jonathan. No, you know what? Jonathan Boyd he would have had the accident before that because I think at the tail end of Southwest it was Luke and Butch. With Jonathan Boyd as their manager.
And I remember seeing, I've seen that stuff. So I thought him too, but I thought, wasn't Luke Williams his partner? Or was it
originally?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought
Butch Miller came in based upon them teaming up in like Portland.
Okay.
Like it was always dependent on who was in the territory. In my world, it was always Luke and Jonathan Boyd. Until the auto accident, and then it became Luke and Butch, and Jonathan Boyd became the mouthpiece. But apparently, he was a drunken stumblebum, as some promoters would say.
Yeah, because he never. He does that. There's that short period of time that they're in Crockett before they go to the WWF as the Bushwhackers, and I don't think he's with them, is he?
I looked it up.
No,
I looked it up.
Okay.
Well, then tell us then.
While the sheep herders were in Puerto Rico, another sheep herders team was spreading destruction. It was Jonathan Boyd and Rip Morgan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was even after Jack Victory, was around. Yeah, the sheep herders. Good Lord, I don't know if you guys were even. I don't know what you guys got, but. I got to see like the sheep herders, like when Bill Watts brought him in, we had just started getting Mid-South and he's showing these tapes of Puerto Rico with them in these barbed wire matches. And I'm reading these like oddball wrestling magazines and these guys are like gnawing people's heads and they're never not bleeding, you know? And I'm thinking like, how do I get a hold of some of this fucking nonsense? And that got the wheels spinning. Like, how do I get Puerto Rico? And it was one of the most, oh my God, difficult jobs to do was to find somebody with a credible source to head Puerto Rico. And it never really, I got a few tapes here, a few tapes there, but nothing that I could ever put together.
Right.
Except somebody did send me a best of Carlos Colon, like 27 volumes. Like 27 volumes, like him against Joe LeDuc at 27 volumes. Like you can name all Carlos Colon's foes pretty much with your appendages.
I got from somebody digitally. I got a bunch of those like tapes, like the Abdullah the Butcher tape. and stuff that I downloaded to my computer. You know, it's got the thing with the fake fly with Abby, and it's like he's eating a raisin.
That's the worst. That was like, that's one of them things that it was so bad when you see it, and you're just like, dude, I hope nobody else sees this. And you know, like, you hope your like spouse don't walk into the room, and she just sees you got this big fake Party City fly, and he's looking at it like he's probably more disgusted that it's plastic.
Well, that's always when a non-wrestling fan walks in the room, though, at the most embarrassing moment. You know, Vince McMahon's running around the ring with a cowboy hat and his ass hanging out, or you know, it's
people to kiss it.
Yeah, it's never during like a great technical match or something impressive. Non-wrestling fans always walk in when you're watching the worst of the worst.
Yeah. Well, of course, I wouldn't have it any other way because I purposely put on the worst of the worst. I have a perfect loop of Portland just going nonstop at my house.
They don't walk in while you're watching Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, but they walk in with fucking Dustin Rhodes coming out in a goddamn baby bonnet and a diaper.
He's working in the back of a flatbed.
Yeah, with the ball gag in.
Yeah.
Like, what are you watching? I don't know. It's Pulp Fiction again. You know, whatever. Yeah, but no, like you can never. Nobody ever walks in when I'm watching. Well, then again, like I said, I never watch anything good. I don't even know what's good anymore. To tell you the truth.
Just for the sake of curiosity, you want to hear the rest of this card?
Oh, sure. Why not?
All right. So, like I said, there was a 6-man involving the Sheep Herders, Luke Williams, and Butch Miller wrestled to a draw. It's a completely different promotion. Invader 3, who was the WWC Junior Heavyweight Champion, beat the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Denny Brown by count.
Of course. How many other NWA Junior Heavyweight Champions? He couldn't give me a multiple choice on that one.
Ugliest belt ever, by the way.
Oh, with the crown?
Yeah, it's hideous.
Didn't they steal that from Alabama?
I think you might be right, because I think I remember seeing, if not that belt, one that looked very similar in Continental.
Oh, if they stole, that's the Alabama. That's dumb Bill Ash's belt. He must have owed somebody money and didn't have it, so and he knew the Continental was out of business, so he just said, "Here, just take my belt instead.
Just take this fucking thing."
You could be the U.S. You could be the U.S. Continental Junior neighborhood weight shopping cart pushing champion. That's about what it meant. If Bill Ash was your champion.
Chicky Star beat Tony Falk.
Well, as he should.
Taurus Bulba beat
Oof.
Gino Della Sera, who I've never even heard of. But
Taurus Bulba, man, whatever happened to?
I don't know. I remember seeing him, but I don't know. I have any idea who this Gino Della Sera guy is. Probably a guy who never made it out of Puerto Rico.
You know what? I don't know what he looks like, but he definitely could be somebody who was coming in that was just getting a look at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You don't ever want to be the guy that doesn't make it out of Puerto Rico.
That's what I mean. He could definitely be a guy like that. Like he was a guy who was coming in. He was getting they were giving him a peek, you know, so to speak. And I don't know what he looks like, but he either could have been, you know, used sparingly, or he could have been used for spare parts. Because I don't remember the name. I don't remember going hog wild on Gino Delaserio. But he sounds like Steve DeSalvo. Like the name almost sounds like, could it be the wrong name?
I don't know. That's why I was going to say this other match has to be, both the names have to be wrong. Because it says Ricky Fujiki, who I assume is Ricky Fuji.
Ricky Fuyuki.
Fuyuki?
Yeah, that's probably
okay.
That's probably here Mickey Fuyuki.
And it says he beat Rick Morgan, which I was assuming was Rip Morgan, but maybe there was a Rick Morgan too. I don't know.
No, it was probably Rip.
All right, I'll let you know.
That poor guy, man. That poor guy. He got saddled with so many like I'm part of this team gimmicks.
Yeah, I'm kind of part of this team.
Like he never got a break because he was always a package deal, and nobody wanted to take the original person that was in the team. So, or they might want to Jack Victory, but he was so loyal that he was like, "No, I'm not going without or Rip Morgan. They might want to, him, but it's like, I'm not going without Jack Morgan. And they're like, well, never mind then.
You stay in Texas then.
And then he calls back with a, all right, what about John Tatum? And they go, don't call us, we'll call you. And then he goes, well, I used to work in the same company as Eddie Gilbert. And they go, you know what? It ain't going to work.
Lose our number.
Yeah, please.
Jumpin' Joe Savoldi.
Oh, there you go.
Beat Eric Embry by disqualification.
Oh, that's a battle over territory right there. It's who's going to own this part of the locker room? Because I can't bring you all back to Parsippany. But if you guys play your cards right, I can get you guys out of this shithole. everybody, El Boogaloo is in Puerto Rico going, yeah, I want to get out of here because he's only getting paid like $25 a month.
Boogaloo Shaft.
And he's just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I want to get out of here. I can see how that shit works.
Steve Rinaldi introducing Tom Boogaloo Shaft is always funny because he's always like Boogaloo Shaft.
Wasn't he the guy from like Central States or whatever?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Tom Rinaldi's that greasy looking ring announcer that was the ring announcer for World Class before Mark Lawrence.
Okay. Oh, that's when the footage was really bad. Right? Isn't that like before? That's before they were the worldwide leader.
Yeah,
and,
before they were the only promotion seen all over the world.
They were seen in high. They were seen in high def.
The only reason they were able to make that claim is for some reason they were popular in Israel. It's like, where were the Von Erichs popular? Texas and Israel.
Well, so what about it? I mean, it's close.
Jews for Fritz. And then in the last match here on this card, Carlos Colon beat Elijah Akeem.
And that would have been who?
Is that
Ray Candy?
That's Ray Candy because who was the other guy?
Kareem Muhammad.
Yes, Kareem Muhammad.
Oh no, that wasn't. Oh, Ray Candy was Kareem Muhammad. Elijah Akeem, as far as I know, was he? He was Elijah Akeem most of his time. I think he was Mr. Elijah before that. He wasn't bad Leroy Brown, was he? Or was that?
I don't think so because I don't think Leroy Brown had even turned by this. I think he's still a good guy. He's still a face, I think, in like Mid-Atlantic at this point.
What, doing the Boogaloo gimmick?
Yeah, pretty much with the hard hat and shit.
In case of emergency, big fat black guy, Boogaloo. He should come out and thing of glass. When the babyface needs somebody to run out for him, he has to run out and break the glass.
When JYD's at odds with Bill Watts,
break the glass. Out comes Boogaloo. Can you imagine being a commentator, be told in your head you got to put over a fact the guy running to the ring named Boogaloo. You're on a police scanner. We need help here. There's a 2-alarm fire. Somebody help Boogaloo. I don't want to be Boogaloo in my neighborhood. Do you? I don't want the kids to be walking down the street while I'm sitting outside drinking my coffee on the porch and there's Mr. Boogaloo.
There's Boogaloo.
I gotta stand up and shitty for him. Run in, put my wrestling clothes on, and grab my my kimono. No wonder I can't run for a public office in this neighborhood. Too many kids got pictures of me in my Boogaloo.
Who's got Rufus R. Jones' phone number?
And it ain't Rufus R. Jones. It's Chad from down the block. He walks around like he's calling himself Mr. Boogaloo. A vote for you, a vote for Boogaloo is a vote for you. I can see it now.
That's a T-shirt right there.
Boogaloo in 2022.
Yeah. But he had so many made, he's planning on running in 32. He's just gonna take a marker to all the dozens of the shirts they have left and put a little line across it. Mr. Boogaloo.
Well, there we go. A nice card from Puerto Rico back in 1985. And I guess we'll go 10 years after that and head to the ECW arena on February 7th, 1995. Well, that's when the show date is anyway. And this one is interesting. Aaron, anything before we start this?
I just there's not a lot that's to this show, but yeah,
Boogaloo.
you can just start.
Was there a whole lot of boogaloo on this show?
It was lacking boogaloo.
It was there was a severe lack of boogaloo in this show. We get Joey Styles introducing the show at ringside, and he brings out Jason, who cuts your standard Jason promo.
Okay, this was right after they showed like the Public Enemy kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That is in my notes, but I forgot to mention it. Yeah, they do.
Great, because I want to make sure I was watching the same show.
They do show. Every show starts with the Public Enemy coming out or doing a fucking promo. You never know anymore. Every fucking episode, Public Enemy's either fucking dancing or fucking putting out verbal diarrhea. It doesn't matter.
They're stealing stuff, but they're dressed well, and they're walking around in Kensington with the little blue outfit on and the tag belts. Couple of clowns. What a pansy neighborhood that is.
Look like a couple of Make-A-Wish kids.
If Public Enemy's your tag team, you live in a Make-A-Wish neighborhood. That's the tag team championships. We're the Make-A-Wish champions.
The MAW tag team champions.
They should have been. They should have spliced them in the Todd Gordon whatever commercials.
MAW Wrestling. Every match is a handicap match.
What was the Todd Gordon Foundation one that they always used to put over?
Variety Club.
Yeah. At least MAW Wrestling, John Cena would show up quite frequently.
Yes.
John Cena's giving Johnny Grunge his wish. Oh, Cena.
Oh, Teddy. John Cena's here. He got that spinner. Good Lord. Just move on.
Well, then after cutting his short promo, Jason introduces the Pitbulls.
We're not going to talk about that he's wearing a lady's pantsuit.
Who, Jason or the Pitbulls?
Jason.
Oh, I can't see Anthony coming out and looking all mean with the dog collar on wearing a lady's pantsuit.
Yeah, Jason's doing his best Hillary Clinton.
He's got some TJ Maxx going on.
He's Jason C. Penny. He's out here with his double knit. He's the Prince of Polyester all of a sudden.
Jason. That's like one of the ladies from Designing Women. It's fucking ridiculous.
Him and Delta Burke going at it.
Yeah.
And the loser got to tear off each other's person's clothes. Good Lord. The loser has to wear more clothes. The fans instead of like they're throwing the clothes into the crowd, they bring clothes. The throwback to the people in the ring. And they get the chant of put this on. That's when you know you're over.
Only on this show do we connect Jason to Delta Burke. I love it.
Yeah. Only. And somehow you could tie me in the Delta Burke then. 6 degrees.
Well, Jason then brings out the Pitbulls, and then he brings out Jason.
Yeah.
The wrestler from Wing.
Yeah, Jason the Terrible. But before that, what was the crowd chanting? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. I wrote down, I don't understand what the crowd is chanting. I have the same thing here.
Kmart suit.
Is that what that was?
Yes, because he puts over his pit bulls and he says that they're beautiful. And then he says, speaking of beautiful, how do you like my suit? And then they chant Kmart suit.
Wow, that makes sense.
They should have chanted TJ Maxx.
Yeah, for all I knew, they were chanting chicken soup because I could not make out what they were saying.
Dude, you ain't wrong, man. You could have told me anything. I mean, anything. You know,
good job, Aaron.
Like something could have happened like before they did the promo. You know what I mean? Where he could have like just slipped or just before that the crowd just jumped on, and I'm just completely clueless as to what they're yelling at this poor guy. But I mean, I guess that's heat, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I'll just go with it. So from now on, when I run out, I'm gonna be yelling out that I want to eat chicken soup. Like, I don't want any of you fans to be bringing me any homemade chicken soup. Preferably, I like the little small noodles. You ever got chicken soup?
Chicken and stars. Chicken and stars.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of that one. That's the Campbell one?
Yeah.
No, I give that to my granddaughter. That's Bush League. You got to get the. Yeah, that's Bush
League soup. Bush League soup.
Yeah, that has Dora the Explorer or that mermaid on the fucking thing. Yeah, I'm not. There's no chance that my wife or any of my friends are gonna walk in. I'm gonna make some Campbell soup and it's gonna have that mermaid on the front of it. I don't care how good it is. Put some meat in that, some gravitas.
Bush League soup. Who is playing Jason the Terrible here? Do you know, Chad? Because I don't have.
Yeah,
any idea.
that was Jason. That was I want to say his name was I want to say his name was Ivan. Wasn't that Ivan from Puerto Rico? I mean, wasn't that the guy that played Jason in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they say that he's from Wing here.
What's the same guy? That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know if he was anybody that, was like, how like, Corporal Kirshner was Leatherface or whatever. I didn't know if Jason was somebody that we would know other than being Jason.
I want to say his name is. I want to say it's Ivan or Ivan Rodriguez. I want to say that's his name because he wrestled like oh my god, he did a shit ton of stuff in Puerto Rico in like the mid to late 80s, like mainly TV work. And then I think he was kind of like a Gilbert project at some point because I mean things were starting to change in Puerto Rico clearly come '88. Things were taking a drastic turn.
Shit, yeah.
So they had to start making new stars, and you definitely had to start making new local stars.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're only going to get what the mainland guys. What I don't know how many weeks out of each tour, like 6 weeks, 9 weeks, maybe.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many guys are sticking around for a year in Puerto Rico because even Brody wouldn't stay a year, right?
Yeah, he'd be in Texas or Georgia.
Well, there's
Brody would do like what? He'd do like 2 weeks.
There's only two names that I can find attached to the gimmick Jason the Terrible. And one of them is Carl Moffat, and I'm pretty sure this isn't Carl Moffat. And then there's a Puerto Rican guy named Rafael Rodriguez Morano Jr.
Oh, he's definitely in jail by now. What a name like that.
And it has this Rodriguez guy listed as being at ECW Double Tables in February.
Okay, so that's who it is because this is from the Double Tables event.
All right, so I had the last name correct.
He may have wrestled as Ivan at some point. That may.
No, that's what I mean. I had the last name correct. The Rodriguez. That's what I said, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, then you say, yeah, acknowledge me. What's the matter with you?
Settle down, Roman.
Yeah, no. It's cold out here, and I want to be acknowledged.
Well, then they show us a video showing the drama.
Not talk about how fucking stupid it is that Jason is managing Jason.
Well, I think it's a play on words because it's Jason the Terrible.
It would
give they don't call him Jason the Terrible. They just call him Jason.
It would be.
Yeah, but we all know.
It would give Vince McMahon an aneurysm.
Would that be like putting a hat on a hat?
Vince McMahon didn't want more than 2 Steves in his company. He's like, now we've got Jason managing Jason.
Yeah, but Michael Hayes is yelling, yeah, but he's terrible. And then Vince is going, yeah, right. And he goes, so it's Jason? Yeah. And then what about Jason? He's terrible. And then Vince goes, yeah, all right, book it. And then he has no idea that it's Jason against Jason the Terrible. He's all looking around looking for Jason Bateman.
Vince would just change his name to Terrible.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Pronouns, pal.
Well, and plus Jason is terrible, and he's managing Jason the Terrible.
Yeah, I wonder how the meeting went when somebody showed Vince a tape of this guy. And you're like, well, this is Jason from Puerto Rico. And he goes, he's terrible. I love it. We're Steve King. I mean, I can get him way cheaper than I can this Rodriguez fella. Good Lord. Jason the Terrible. How is it that these gimmicks got over? Like, would they ever stand a chance in America? Not asking Ian Rodden, by the way.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've seen some stupid shit in America get over, but I don't know that the horror movie character, the Leatherface, the Jason, there was even a Freddy Krueger. Hell, we saw the Freddy Krueger on ECW a while back.
Yeah, but that was Eddie. That was Eddie stuff because Freddy goes back until like the early '90s when it was Eddie's father, Doug, was Eddie was
Gas
our
House.
Yeah, but that goes no, that's Doug in the '70s.
Right.
But I mean, in the '90s, when he was still working a little bit, he did the Monster Guys. He did. I know he was Freddy, and I don't know. I think. I don't know what his name is. Ken Ramsey, the job guy from Memphis, the guy that went to like school with Lawler. I think he was one of the ones too. Like, you know, it was anybody backstage that would fit into the costume.
Right.
Tonight,
you're the mummy.
Could you imagine if it was downtown Bruno? He's like 7 inches too short. His pants are like hanging down. He's tripping over and walking to the ring.
Guess you're Igor there, downtown Bruno.
Yeah, pretty much.
The match that we get here is the Pitbulls and Jason the Terrible against the Young Dragons and Hack Myers. And there's actually a lot to unpack here for this whole segment because it's wild and woolly, and I actually enjoyed it. In the course of the match, one of the Young Dragons' mask comes off.
Yeah, I knew right away. I was like, well, this isn't Paul and Mikey because they're short and fat now. They're not just short, there's fat. And then I'm like, I don't know who these guys are. They're definitely not Mikey and Paul. And then, like I said, he said his fucking head falls off or whatever. His hood falls off and all his hair, and then he's just a fucking mechanic in a gi.
Yeah,
I put down because he had like the sideburns into a mustache thing and the long hair, and he was small. I put down, I think the guy under the mask's name is Single H.
Yeah, I don't know.
They went from the Young Dragons to the 7-Eleven Dragons. It's like
I think they were guys that fixed the ring, and Paul needed to send a match out there, and he goes, "I think there's a problem with the bottom turnbuckle." So they dressed him up in the Young Dragons outfit to go have the match to test the ring. And as it was over, you see one of the Young Dragons grabbing a wrench, and he's tightening the bottom turnbuckle on the way back to the locker room. And Paul needed that match to air on TV for some reason.
his fucking mask fell off.
Yeah, dude. It was like a white guy, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was just a regular white guy.
He looked like he worked
like a gas station clerk.
Well, he looks like a Jiffy Lube fucking employee.
Dude, maybe a Jiffy Lube.
Working at Jiffy Lube, but
he pulled a Matt Striker where he called in sick. So why are you calling in sick? And he was done on road because I want to be a young dragon.
so there's Young Dragon Earl.
Dude, my name is Young Dragon Earl. How long did that show last with My Name is Earl? Just imagine the mileage you can get out. My name is Young Dragon Earl. They're going to get Luke Hawks to play me. Jeez whiz. By the way, big props to my boy Luke Hawks for his role in Young Rock. Believe me, he ain't flaunted it enough.
The match here actually, Hack obviously is good. Him and Gary Wolf wrestled the majority of the match. And again, like I said, Hack looks good here. The Pitbulls looked good here. The Young Dragons looked terrible.
Hack carried that match.
Absolutely, yes. This whole segment, like I said, I was actually really entertained by this whole segment of the show because of him and everything going on with him.
Dude, his punches, man, like that. I think. I mean, I know we've talked about Hack several times on the show and my relationship with him, but yeah, I wish I could have been there and been there to help him, like, kind of celebrate that. Like, dude, you got this. Like, this was organic.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't happen in ECW. I mean, it only happens in ECW. You know what I mean?
Right.
They could send. What if Ham Snow would have went out there and did his little matches, and the crowd was just like, we don't get it anymore. But they took the Al Snow was being pushed down everybody's throat through the tape tradings early internet stuff like that. But Hack Myers was a Philadelphia guy, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm your guy over here."
I think
the crowd loved
that,
it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and I know that JT was still kind of over, but I think what happened with Hack is what they thought was going to happen with JT.
What, him getting over organically?
Yeah.
But at this point, JT was gone.
Mm-hmm. But no, I guess what I'm saying is like they tried really hard to try to organically get JT, and I'm not saying he wasn't over, but he wasn't over to the level Hack is.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what level of JT you're talking about. Because I mean, if you're talking about JT at the level where when you left, no, Hack was getting over. But when JT came back with the FBI, that'd be debatable, wouldn't it be? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. That I guess I was comparing this time frame as opposed to later on. But you're right. When he comes in with the FBI, people fucking love that shit.
Oh, because it was stupid.
Yeah, it was. I think it was two different things. Like, it was two different reasons. Like, they wanted to get into Hack because he looked like them, and they got into JT because he was a bump machine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody's got to take the bumps.
Yeah.
And JT was, I don't know. JT was like on a mission to like kill himself. It seemed like he was like the guy that he wanted to be the martyr for ECW, not Tommy Dreamer, but JT, you live like 10 hours away. You're not coming every single week,
right?
So it's a good try, but yeah. I love JT. I mean, we talked about it a million times on the show how much I love JT. Just when it comes to taking big bumps, he's his own worst enemy.
JT doesn't take the bump takes him.
JT, yeah. Like when JT goes back to the hotel room and he talks to his buddy and was like, "Yeah, took a bad bump last night." Well, what do you think that bump said when he went back to his buddies? I took a shitty JT tonight. Boy, that JT don't know how to bump. and the bump's going, you know how long I've been doing this? He's all smoking a cigar. He's all bitter.
I used to be the bump for Baron Von Raschke.
Yeah, the kid on Webster. I used to bump for him. I was a Papadopoulos, damn it.
I bumped for the Ganyas.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I taught Baron Miguel Cicluna how to bump. Well, he never bumps. That's right.
He didn't listen to me.
No, the answer is that's right. But we never bumped. But how'd you get pinned? We just said we did. We never have it on tape. How'd they ever do that stuff, by the way? Why didn't anybody ever take wins and losses?
I don't know. It was, yeah. That's that era booking, though. I mean, especially in that area.
I'd love to see that broad from the fucking territory show that she's a borderline piece of crap in my book. That Princess Victoria donkey.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, she's just out there. She is crying the blues like her check was lost in the mail 40 years ago. And you know what I mean? And she's still out there like, oh, woe is me. Like, you got shit on in Portland? You got shit on in Texas? You got shit on in Oklahoma? Maybe it wasn't the territory.
Exactly, yes. Maybe. Just maybe.
Yeah. I mean, so
you should have been a stripper.
Maybe Mullah's got standards. You went out to the Mullah ranch or whatever, and even Mullah said, I don't think so. And now 40 years later, he's going on TV because they're all dead.
Yeah, now it's only your story. Yeah.
Of course it is. And now that there's more wrestling, like shoot stuff on TV, like she can be on every platform ever. Like, oh my God, they still owe me. They took the batteries out of my garage door opener. They left me with nothing. And then Mullah took her little Indian ensemble with her too that she made. That was the best. She literally took that broad and left her naked. But anyway.
Well, the Young Dragons essentially. Well, Jason the Terrible does bust Hack open with his mask, and And then the Young Dragons essentially dip out and leave Hack to be triple teamed by the Pit Bulls and Jason, and Hack gets pinned. But that's not the fun part. The fun begins after the match.
Did any of you guys see Hack get color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see him get the color?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see the actual second. No,
neither did I. And that to me was a humongous surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Maryland we could never get color. And I can't think of another place where Hack got color before, other than unless he was just practicing somewhere at his house, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when I saw Hack, when I saw him go down, and I knew he was getting the color, and I was like, oh, I couldn't believe that he got the color. And I'm like, that's not bad. That wasn't bad for somebody who I would think only did it maybe once or twice before.
Yeah, like I said, I never saw it. It was like headbutt with mask. He's bleeding. I never saw how he actually got it, or when he actually got it, I should say.
I think when I went back and I actually looked for it again, I think he got color right before he got hit with the mask. Was there any interaction prior to that?
I don't think so.
So he I don't remember, but I mean there had to have been something where was he face to face with Jason, and then Jason just headbutted him, or was there something before that?
No, he was he was on the ground. I think Jason picked him up, and then he headbutted him. So he might have been getting the color when he was on the ground.
Ah, okay, yeah, totally. That's where he would have done that. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to me anyway.
Like I said, the fun begins after the match here because Jason is doing an interview at ringside, bragging about the Pit Bulls and their victory. And then in the background, which I thought it was so cool that they just let it be in the background. In the background, Hack is laying waste to these fucking idiots, the Young Dragons. Behind Jason, I thought it was so cool that they didn't even they didn't make a big deal about it. They didn't focus on it. They just let it happen in the background. I thought that was so fun.
That to me reminded me of a lot of the old Detroit TV shows. Mm-hmm. But when it wasn't at a studio and it would have the guy who would be green screen at the ring, and in the background it'd be the arena matches going on, and I'm just this is just so baloney. But I know exactly what you mean, and I totally agree with you. I totally love that, how the matches were going on.
And then after that, Hack comes outside the ring, laying waste to the Pit Bulls with a chair. He beats up Jason in the ring. Aaron, you can cut me off. Chad, you can cut me off if you want as I'm going through this, if you have any other notes about this stuff. But it's frantic, it's great, and it's putting Hack over. And I thought this was great.
Yeah, it was, dude. I mean, I wrote Viva la Hack, man. Hack is, Hack is tearing it up, and the crowd's eating it up, and anywhere you can look at it and tell that it wasn't anything that was orchestrated, spot wise, because it was just anybody who was in the ring, Hack would just turn around and start decking.
Yeah,
and it was all right, friend, foe, neighbor, cousin. You know what I mean? He's spinning around. Hack's just he's firing bombs at him, and this was trying to make Hack fucking as credible as possible.
Aaron, anything else before we get to the angel part?
No, just
fucking angel.
Tab was saying, it was to get Hack over, and he lost, but he still got over in the end. So it did.
He doesn't lose. He never loses, even when he gets pinned. I mean, do you think anybody went home and was God damn, I can't believe Hack got pinned? You know what I mean?
Nope. They're talking about what happened after he got
pinned. The Hack Myers.
They don't even remember. Yes.
Yeah, they're sitting out there yelling, that Hack Myers, dude. He beat, you know what I mean? He beat the crap out of him.
So come inside. I'm going to go put the laundry away.
All right. I'm going. All right.
Well, then after all of that goes down, we get Angel. He comes out in a wedding dress.
The Virgin Princess Angel.
Yes.
Her wedding dress and work boots.
She slaps Hack, and then Hack just fucking decks her.
Yeah, he does.
And then he spanks her, and then she kisses him, And then he
She
pile
liked it.
drives her.
Yeah, she liked it.
But man, that was great. He fucking decked her. Like there was no like, we're not gonna be gingerly about this. We're not gonna try to play coy here. He just knocked the fuck out of her.
Well,
Another one of them classic hack punches.
you want to hit like a man, you're gonna get hit like a man.
No, I'm not going to say that. No way, sir.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Like I said, guys, overall, I thought this was a great segment for Hack. The match itself was fine, but the aftermatch was great.
Oh yeah, totally, man. I like the whole entire show for a change. Like I actually found it I don't want to say refreshing. I was just like, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is pretty decent. They finally Jason the Terrible-licious, Angel, and then you started to see the push of guys like Hack,
We finally revealed the identity of one of the young dragons.
Which was some other guy. Earl.
Earl.
Well, Earl, what's he going on to do?
Earl Pulaski. Like he's a Polish guy.
Well, check his Wikipedia, or if you don't have one, make one.
They say some wrestlers are carpenters. This guy's literally a carpenter.
Kitchens and cabinets and shit.
Yeah,
That's the name of his place.
Kitchens and cabinets
and shit.
Earl Pulaski.
Come down to Earl Pulaski's kitchen cabinets and shit.
Yeah, he'd be a hit in Portland at Sandy Bar's flea market.
Cups, cans, whatever you gotta put in them fucking things.
Bring out your dead.
For an extra $50, I'll put a Lazy Susan in there. I don't care.
Yeah, I got a couple of.
I don't mean my wife, even though that's what I call her.
Yeah.
Lazy Susan.
Hey babe, go in there and grab me a couple of Susans.
All day I'm in here making these cabinets and shit, and I come home and what's for dinner? Chicken and stars. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a mermaid on it.
Good Lord.
That's how you bring something back.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking.
The next match on the show is Chris Benoit against Al Snow, and the crowd was really into this match.
So was I.
Yeah, it was a good match. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, lots of high impact, and like I said, a lot of times when there's a match that I'm into, I can tell because I don't have a lot of notes on it because I'm not trying to pick it apart. I'm just watching the match, and I don't have a lot of notes on the match. I enjoyed it, and like I said, the crowd really enjoyed it, as you can see in the arena. Aaron, you take any any spots you wrote down or anything like that?
Just that I thought it was a good wrestling match. Al Snow hit a pretty good super kick. Benoit's chops are out of the fucking world. Al hit that good springboard drop kick. I just thought it was a really, really good match and probably one of the better ECW matches we've seen since the beginning, in my opinion.
Dude, the Benoit chops were brutal in the corner.
Yeah.
I thought they were just completely crippling. Like, no pun intended.
Right.
I was sitting there going, oh my God. Like, he's killing them. And I know how bad they hurt, quote, not hurt, but they still hurt.
That's what I was going to ask, was I know they say like chops are, it sounds like it's whatever, but they don't really, but there's no way those fuckers didn't hurt.
No, chops hurt, but they don't kill you. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just kind of like they go right through you kind of thing. And like they hurt, but what hurts is when you keep beating on the same spot repeatedly. You keep hitting the same spot and you see where you see the handprints when the guy keeps hitting him in the same spot. That's when guys start to get pissed. Mm-hmm. Like when a guy keeps beating a guy in the same spot, because it really does turn into ground beef. And guys start to get pissed.
Anybody ever take liberties with you with chops?
Of course, everybody did. I mean, shit. I couldn't tell you. I mean, the only person I'll tell you, Sandman's chops to me hurt worse than anybody else's. If you go back and watch that match with me and Hack, I mean, I don't know if we reviewed it or anything. The one at the hilltop thing, whatever, on the mountain gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
When he took his liberties at me and he started chopping me. And since we didn't call anything before the match, I spun him around and started chopping him. Like I was like, MFer, what's good for the goose is even worse for me, because I I knew I was in for a beating after that, after I fought back. But at least he knew I wasn't going to take that crap.
Right.
They suck, man. Like I'd sometimes much rather be punched, depending on where it's at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, and is that because okay, with a punch, okay, not being a worker, if I sound stupid, let me know. But with a punch, I would assume it's easier to take because sound-wise and effect-wise, it's easier to work a punch. Like with a slap, you actually have to slap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That whole entire foot gimmick where you stomp the mat kind of thing, yeah, it kind of makes the punch sound good.
Right.
You know, I mean, because if you punch a guy, you might hear the first couple rows might hear a click,
Mm-hmm.
or a small little pop. You know what I mean? Of the flesh on, flesh kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, but a punch is like, you got to use that stomp. But damn, when Benoit gave her that chop, and if you go back and look at like some guys like from like Nitro stuff, like especially when it's TV and guys are all lubed up, you can see the baby oil and the sweat fly up. I just never liked him because I never had much of a chest, and like even the turnbuckle said enough. The guy would chop me so hard the chest, the turnbuckle was there. He would tap.
The turnbuckle from with Chad's over there talking to JT Smith's bump.
Yeah,
I had to be at the turnbuckle for a Chad Austin chest slap.
Yeah, but I mean, that's way worse than having to be there to watch JT Smith jump over the top rope and fail miserably.
True.
Jesus, could you imagine if JT Smith was the modern day like Super Dave? He's gonna jump off the scaffold. Just take any of his quote unquote feats.
Yeah,
and
one
go back
episode. One episode. We're done. He's dead.
Go back and put a Super Dave commentary behind it. But he's setting himself up. Oh, here he goes, and it's like, oh, and then they make it sound like it was so successful, and his JT's legs are all over his head. You know what I mean? And there's that would have been great if Paulie would have gave JT Smith a Fumaki guy. The guy who was Super Dave's goof. They used to take all the pictures and set him up for all the stupid stunts. Wow, what could have been, huh?
Well, Benoit wins the match with Al Snow with a suplex. Again, like I said, I enjoyed the match. It was a good wrestling match between those two guys. And then we're going to get highlights here to end the show of Public Enemy against Sabu and Taz for the tag team titles in a double tables match.
Did you say highlights?
They call it, yes, highlights of the match.
Oh, I call them stills. Yeah, they were stills of the match, which was brilliant marketing, right?
Yeah. You didn't get to see it. Maybe next time you'll come down to the arena and see it.
Yeah, that's what one of my notes was. They're finally starting to figure that out. Because before they were like, oh, you got to come to the ECW arena to see this show. And then they just break down the show.
Oh, I totally agree. Aaron, I agree. But at the same time, there was probably more to it than that. At that point, Paul, at this point, he was definitely selling the next show, right? Mm-hmm. Or any show. He was selling ECW. But at that point, we start seeing not on the WWE version of it, but on the original version of it, you start seeing a lot pushing of the home videos.
Right.
And this was all like, now Paul's got like all this footage. He's got all this stuff,
tapes are cheap to make and they have a lot of profit.
And he's got a huge, at this point, highlight reel to sell. It's great because you got what do you got? Fine ass working for him, making the tapes. So it's at no cost to Paul.
Right. Probably make more off the tapes than you do the actual show.
Oh, there was definite times. I know that for a fact. There was definite times where it was significantly. When I used to hang out with them goofs up there, and it was significant times where that they made way more money than that show brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like it wasn't even close. It was, you would have thought they were running the show.
Well, that's why people can say what they want about him. But that's why the first thing when somebody sat down with Vince McMahon to join his company, the first thing that would run through Vince McMahon's mind is how can we market this guy on a T-shirt? How can we market this guy on a VHS tape? It's not, it's a business at the end of the day. So yes, the wrestling's important, but for the masses, it's merchandise. Tapes, T-shirts, all that stuff.
Speaking of that, I was just watching some shit with Kevin Nash, and he had a great line. He said that everybody wants to call it the wrestling business, but when you start treating it like a business, then you're a prick.
I guess there's nothing you can say about that, huh?
That's funny. And true, and fucking true. But
I mean, Kevin Nash, I don't know. I don't even know where he stands in my world anymore as far as, do I like him, appreciate him, not like him? You know what I mean?
I actually dig Kevin Nash just because Kevin Nash has absolutely no delusions about who he is. He's not like Hogan or even Bret Hart, who just like have these very high opinions of themselves, not saying whether they're right or wrong. But Kevin Nash essentially says, yeah, I'm 6'9". I'm, this
mediocre.
But he will also tell you, well, what the fuck did you want me to do at 6'9"? Fucking moonsault? He has no delusions about who or what he is, and I respect that. He knows what his place was. And
you also got to look at when he came around and the expectation level of when they got him to begin with. You know what I mean? Like he walked right into what, Oz? Is that what it was?
He was a master blaster first, and then he was Oz.
Yeah, and that was still a boot to the face, power bomb, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Well, we get Sabu and Taz winning the tag team titles here, and then after the match, there's some brawling. Sabu tries to put Rocco Rock through a table, but Chris Benoit comes out and puts Sabu through the table and through Rocco. And then after that insanity, we get what I have always referred to as Chris Benoit's Denim Dan promo.
Oh, good Lord.
It's a Canadian tuxedo.
He is said.
It's the fucking fancy suit of his people. When you go to the Canadian Emmys, it's all a bunch of denim Canadian tuxedos.
I'm still waiting. Was Ricky there from Charter Park Boys? Bubbles?
Bubbles. Kids in the hall and red green.
Kids in the hall has nothing to do. They want nothing to do with this nonsense.
Red green's there.
If you guys like Canadian comedy, if you haven't, you should check out Letterkenny and Shoresy.
Degrassi Junior High.
That's where they shoot Drake, isn't it?
I remember like getting ready to get out of high school, and then a buddy of mine was telling me, like, I was 18 because I hung around for a while, and a buddy of mine was asking me if I checked out Degrassi Junior High, and I said, for what? And he's like, have you seen any of the girls on there? I said, junior high. Like, I don't care what grade they were in real life.
It's like, what's your last name, Lawler?
No, his last name was Ellis. I'll put him on blast. Don't worry. He's got way more other names than that. He's the only guy I've ever known that goes to a bar and he has a credit card number written down on a piece of paper. And then when the tab comes, he tells the bartender to run this paper. And he's done it so many times that it's not anything out of the ordinary. And come to find out, it's his girlfriend's.
Of course it is.
Or ex-girlfriends.
And she's 14.
No, she's not. Maybe she's 14 on a scale of 1 to 10. But How he fucked that up, I don't remember.
Well, Benoit, essentially his promo here is talking about how he and Malenko are going to show Sabu and Taz what pain is all about. And it's an effective promo, obviously it's Chris Benoit. The thing about
Best you're
Benoit
going to get.
Yeah, I was going to say the thing about Benoit is he was never a great promo, but when you wanted him to just be talking about administering pain to someone, he didn't need to have a good promo. He just needed to have that voice, that look, and he was great.
It wasn't almost with him. It wasn't what he was saying; it's how he said it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He could have been ordering a fucking double cheeseburger.
Like,
I want no onions.
That's right.
No onions.
He turns the.
If you put onions on that sandwich,
he's like doing the hand thing. If you put the onions on the sandwich, the Stu Hart hand thing.
He's got like the like I could just see it now. Like he's like talking into the microphone, and he's thinking about what he's going to do to this microphone if they mess up his junior bacon cheeseburger. and he's sitting there massaging his hands. You know what I mean? And
you're gonna find out what a customer complaint is all about.
Canada style. And I'm just so glad that Benoit is not a guy that says baby on his promos. I just couldn't see that. That's right, baby.
You're gonna find out what pain is all about, baby.
That's right. I don't picture Chris Benoit as a baby guy.
Wrestling's the only thing that's a thing in too.
What, baby?
Yeah, baby. Like I've seen a lot of fights.
Daddy, calling other men daddy in wrestling too. That's weird.
Dude, I get so dude. You don't even know. This is a whole different show. How pissed off I get when people say baby, like, and they try to say like an aggressive style. Like you called the guy baby.
I've seen many a fight in my time.
No, I've seen it. That's what I mean. Like,
but I've never been in a bar and two guys are getting ready to scrap, and the one guy's like, "I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, baby."
Baby.
Everybody would be like, "What?"
Nobody puts baby against the wall.
The fight would stop. Like it would be like, "I'm gonna beat the ever loving fucking shit out of you, baby."
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What?"
If that happened at a bar, if that happened at a bar that I went to, somebody would yell out, "Is the Metal Maniac here?" Who invited him? Wait, so does that mean
if you don't back off? If you don't back off, I'm gonna take this pool cue. I'm gonna bust it over your fucking head, baby.
And then he goes up to the bar, and the bartender walks over, and she just says, "Can I get you something?" She goes, "Let me tell you something, Daddy."
Yeah, I was gonna say, give me a gin and tonic, Daddy.
Yeah, you get my friends over here, Daddy.
What do you think? What do you think this is, a leather bar? What the fuck?
I will give you a gin and tonic, but you are not calling me Daddy.
Come on, baby. Jesus, that's the only two words like a broken down independent wrestler from like the like the 90s knows. Daddy and baby. And they still use kayfabe, like you can use it in private, in public, and like nobody's gonna know what it means. Like I've yelled, I've been out places with Jess, and I started doing something, and she would like acknowledge it. And I yelled kayfabe, and like 4 heads turned. Like it's just strangers. Oh, we don't know what kayfabe means anymore. It's not a secret.
Well, overall, guys, as we close out the show, what did you think of this episode of ECW? I enjoyed it.
Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. It was a hell of an episode.
I enjoyed it, baby.
Yeah, that's right. You bring your kids down here next time, and we're gonna show you a heck of a good show,
baby. That's right.
It was fine. I mean, we're still getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see. I was really hoping for Jason to stick around more, man. I really like that whole wing thing with the guys they brought in. Because I mean, we still have some more the wing guys to go. I'm taking it because
I believe so. Yeah. Because they still have a relationship. They still have a relationship with Wing even by the time the Dudleys come around, don't they?
yeah, but it just seems like from day one it just got worse and worse.
I think the Headhunters even come back. I think,
dude, I love the Headhunters.
Watch them just waddle around, just fucking people up.
They're the best. Mo fatter than the other guy. That's my favorite.
Abby's twin sons.
Dude, they were the best, man.
I've never seen two just more perfectly round people.
Yeah, and they're identical twins. I don't understand how two fat people can weigh the same weight in the 400-pound range. Whose genetics are that awful?
Like their heads are perfectly round, their bodies are perfectly round.
Their calves, their thighs, their breasts, their chest, their nest and head. I mean, it's
like a balloon man or like the Michelin guy.
Yeah, but somebody saw him in the backyard in Puerto Rico doing a moonsault, and they were like, "All right, we got two fat black guys that can do a moonsault." And they look alike.
They check a box.
Yeah, I mean, let's send them to Puerto Rico and see what they can do with Miguel Perez Jr. All right, you can beat him up. All right, well, we'll send him to the States, and a young kid, Masayoshi, whatever his name is, the Wheeler Yuta of ECW in this time. You know what I'm talking about? Motegi, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That's the Wheeler Yuta of ECW. Then they brought this Wheeler useless guy in, and they just beat him to death. And then all of a sudden, Paul thought he was going to get over, and he started getting over. But guess what? The relationship with Wing didn't get over.
Right.
No more Wheeler Motegi. Sounds like a General Motors vehicle. Get your 2022 Wheeler Motegi
during the summer Sizzler sale.
Wheeler Motegi.
Well, that being said, everyone, I want to thank everybody for joining us here this week on Reliving the Extreme. And we will see you next week, everybody, as we move on to Valentine's Day of 1995, February 14th.
Maybe a bunch of
it was Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day, the air date. It was
the air date. Yes.
It'll be a bunch of chocolate dipped ham bones.
And before we leave, I just want to tell you that I don't know if I introduced this yet onto the show, but the saga of the bagel remains. Stay tuned.
What?
the saga of the bagel. Jess thinks she got me with the bagel, but I got her with the bagel.
Left us on a cliffhanger. I'm going to have you explain that at the beginning of next week's show, Chad.
Oh, I'll explain it to one of you off the air.
Have a great week, everybody.